And we are live. Hello, hello.
Woo-hoo!
Woo! My name is Ainsley Johnson, and I am here with Emily Leach, who is the founder of the Freelance Conference and Freelance Business Week. And I am so excited and honored to have joined her team, helping her out with her marketing and all that jazz. And what I really love about Emily and her company and working with her is that, you know, her whole team is made of freelancers, myself included. And so it's been a lot of fun working with her. So go ahead and drop us a line. Let us know in the chat if you can see us, if you can hear us. That would be great. We'd really appreciate it. And go ahead and start dropping some questions. If you have any questions for Emily, you can go ahead and drop those in the chat now. So awesome. All right, Emily. So why don't you just tell me a little bit, about Freelance Business Week, what it is, and how you got started.
You got it. Hey, well, thank you so much for having me and for doing this. It is really a great opportunity to be interviewed by someone else, to see people start to get excited about this. So Freelance Business Week was launched out of the Freelance Conference. So the last few years, we're going into our fifth year for the conference. And then in February, we launched a local version. And so that's what we call Freelance Business Week. The opportunity for people to get together locally. And there's a lot of people out there that are doing kind of what I did. And you start a Facebook group is usually where it begins, and just trying to pull together your community and connect, share work and share advice, be vulnerable, all the things that freelancers are really kind of craving because isolation sets in and it becomes kind of hard. And instead of going and getting a job, they want their community. But what I've been hearing is that they want a way to get together face to face. Facebook looks great. They have their place and they're doing wonderful work, but they want to get together face to face. And through conversations with you and other people in the community, we're like, wait a minute, all these startups and all these other industries have their own thing. How come we don't have our own thing? Mm-hmm. So we do have our own things. Now we have the Freelance Conference, and that's an annual event. But then we have Freelance Business Week that are ran and organized and designed by a local freelance group or humans or organizations. It's kind of an eclectic group of people that run in each city.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, and I mean, definitely, I've just started freelancing, and I know already that it's so important to have that face-to-face connection. There's only so much socialization and only so much you can get from, communicating online and emojis and emails. You know what I mean? Like there's something lacking there for sure. And so that's super cool that these are places for people to kind of gather in person in their local community and, exchange ideas and, connect and network and
learn from each other. Exactly. I mean, I'm a huge advocate of peer education or peer learning because there's, challenges that I've worked through. There's challenges that you've worked through, and I can help you through that challenge because of hopefully I actually worked through it and vice versa. Or there may be a challenge that you don't know is coming up. Yeah. That by being a part of these conversations or going to sessions, whether it's a workshop or a talk or a fireside chat, that you can learn what's coming up. I mean, sometimes the hardest part of being a freelance business owner is not knowing what you don't know.
Right. And that's the scariest things.
Yeah.
What you don't know is what can probably hurt you the most. Right. So that's great to get those different perspectives from different people who are coming at it from different angles, and have really been where you've been before.
Not to mention you can save yourself a whole lot of time. I mean, just think about technology solutions alone.
Yes.
And, I know you and I sat down and had the chats like going, okay, to do invoicing and my books and stuff like that, I can go with, there's hundreds now. Well, in that particular case, there's probably not hundreds, but there's close to it. There's a lot of options. So what option are you using and why are you using it? Right. What options have you looked at and why did you not choose them? Because you still may choose one of the others, but we were able to get you to one that I think you actually really enjoy. And I think we spent 10 minutes in that conversation. And, I know that I have spent, you sign up for one and you use it for, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. And then you migrate to the next one until you settle on one that you really like. And so there's a lot of time saving in connecting with your fellow peer freelance business owners and learning from them.
Yes, totally. I see a couple people in with us. Go ahead and drop us a line in the chat if you're here. Let us know that you can hear us, that you can see us. So Emily, I know just a second ago that you talked about, the different workshops and fireside chats and things that happen during Freelance Business Week. What is your absolute favorite thing about Freelance Business Week? What gets you really excited about these gatherings?
I love the fireside chats. They're probably by far the smallest part of all of it, but I love watching people because, well, here in Austin, we do it. And I'm really trying to get the other groups to do it as well, is we literally build a faux or a fake campfire. We bring in the rocks, we bring in the wood. And of course, we do a LED flame. So
well, I was going to say the event space lets you get away with
Yeah,
that.
no, they have a problem with actually lighting stuff on up. But so we had to find a different way around that. And then, you turn the lights down a little bit. And, some people are sitting on the floor, some people are sitting in chairs. And, you have somebody sort of facilitating a chat that might be kind of tough to have otherwise. There's something about having the lights bright white and everybody's sitting in their workshop.
Fluorescent lighting,
that makes it not as easy to talk about something like money, maybe, or a client from hell, or where I'm at in my freelance business and things like that. And so I love watching what those topics are when they come up each year, and even going and being a part of them is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so speaking of that, so which cities do these freelance business weeks so far? Which cities have signed up?
So we did one in Corpus Christi back in June. I was going to say last month, but it's actually already August, so a couple of months ago. And then we have one happening in Buffalo, New York, coming up in 3 weeks or a month. Yeah, a month from now on the 9th of September. And then we have Denver that is going to be the end of September 29th, I believe, through October 4th. And Miami has gone through a change of ownership, I guess, if you will. The organization team has changed out. And so they're still trying to identify really what their best dates are. And then, of course, Austin will have theirs right after the freelance conference. So it's the end of October.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome. So how do people is this something that any city can do? Is this something that any city can apply for? Or, is it only these select cities that you've just listed?
I let it be organic, and I spend a fair amount of my time reaching out and trying to find people that are leading communities and just finding out what they're doing, how they're doing it, what they're doing with them, what is successful, what's not. And then sometimes we usually end up in a conversation about Freelance Business Week, and it gives them an opportunity to, like I said, to build in a week long. It can be less than a week if you wanted it to, but most people decide to do that week long event and really draw from the knowledge base of their local community, pull their local community together. And the more you guys talk face to face and backed up with these, online conversations, the better these communities are starting to work together. And so, yes, if you're out there and you're running a community or you want to, so we had the woman that you're going to talk to, I think next week, that's running Buffalo. She really wanted to get involved in her local community. She says, I know it's out there and I know I can do it. I just don't have a reason to go and connect to these people or to connect to people, other leaders in my group. In my city. Mm-hmm. And so after our conversation, we had 2 or 3 of them, which is fine, and asking questions and getting clear as to what it is and why it's a good fit for her. And talking to her just yesterday, she's like, thank you so much for this. I've gotten to get to know the mayor, his team. We've got a proclamation. I'm now connected to co-working owners, and I have a group of freelancers that I now have this meeting every week, and they come to it. And it's all because I had a reason to start it. I had something to sort of guide them towards. And so it could actually be a really great catalyst to jumpstart getting your local community together, freelance community together.
Yeah, that's very cool. And so do you have kind of like a little bit of a roadmap, or you know, they have a kind of a starting point, right? You
We
kind of
do.
provide a little bit of that structure.
We provide structure. We provide, you know, what are some of the unique pieces that make this work, you know, that I've learned over the years through the conference. And so how to integrate that. We get together once a month, everybody that's an organizer, and we have a group meeting so that they can get to know each other, you know, a little bit. And then hopefully they'll come to the freelance conference and connect there. We've got some people that are going to each other's Freelance Business Week, which I think will be super fun and exciting to watch that happen. And then, yeah, so you have the opportunity to do a roadmap. You can call anytime you need to. We got a Slack channel and get some direction and some individual coaching. So I think the whole goal of it is to teach people to be even stronger freelance community leaders.
Yeah, you're really bolstering that community leader and giving them just sort of a template, right? It's sort of a template and a platform, you know, to bring their local community together, which, like I said, I mean, like we've both been talking about, is just so important. When you're a freelancer and you're like, I'm stuck here at home all day with cats, you know, and I feel like I'm going crazy. I need to see some humans. I need to talk to some people. You know, I need some interaction. And so that's really, really cool.
And I need to talk to humans that get me, because they're a freelancer too, right? They're not a human that's going to say, well, maybe if you wouldn't got a job, you wouldn't have this problem.
True.
That's not helpful.
Yeah.
As helpful as you're trying to be, you're not.
Right. There's a reason that I chose freelancing, right. And you want to talk to other people who are going to help you find a solution other than get a job.
Yes.
Get a real job.
Get a real job.
Yeah. That's great. Awesome. So yeah, and I'm just curious, like, so why did you start Freelance Business Week? Where did sort of the inspiration come from? You know, how did this sort of like idea come to be?
Well, it came out of the conference, quite frankly. We had lots of people that would come in from different cities and also even different countries. Like, this is great. I love coming to the conference, but I want something to connect with my local people throughout the year to kind of keep us connected.
Yeah.
And for the people that can't make it to the conference, something where they're continuing to learn, continuing to grow and build community. And so I kept trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this? You know, do I just take the conference to all the cities? And said, well, that's not feasible. And so we just kind of went down this road and tossed it out there, and it's working. People are really enjoying it. So I said, okay, let's start with just a few cities, so that if we screw this up, we can minimize the damage. And it's gone the exact opposite direction. I have a list sitting in front of me, behind you, in front of me, of 12 more cities that are interested next year.
Wow.
And, you know, we're in those conversations, and it's like, man, if half of those come on, that's going to be pretty exciting for next year to be able to see those communities grow and connect and do all the things.
Yeah. Well, you're taking the next question right out from under me. So no, you're good. It's all good. You're just 10 steps ahead of me. So yeah, what are your plans for the future of Freelance Business Week? And I'm sure you can't really share maybe exactly what all 12 of those cities are, but if you've got any kind of like hints or just kind of like what the future might hold for Freelance Business Week as you see it.
Well, in the beginning, so this year, like I said, we just launched it. So in the beginning, I thought that it really needed lots of structure and it needed tons of support. And those things are only semi-true. And it needs the structure in that it can be difficult to launch something from scratch, especially if you've never done it before. So the structure is super helpful to know, here's what we're going to do and here's why we're going to do it, you know, the copy and all that kind of stuff. And the support is really good when you get into a spot. It's like going, hey, wait, why do we want to do this and stuff like that? Like sponsorships. How do I sell sponsorships? And so I want to be able to do more coaching and stuff on how they can bring in more sponsorships and pull in that part of the community too. How do we connect with business owners that are hiring freelance help? And so that we can bring those into a Freelance Business Week. And so that it's good to have somebody outside your group to help you remember this is super important, and don't forget this piece and don't forget that piece. But I want to open up the design of it more. I want to open up whatever the week is, it is what your organizing team makes it. So like the group in Denver was really the inspiration for this, because I just didn't expect this to happen. And it was so beautiful to watch. They really embraced it. And they said, we want to do, you know, tracks. Each day is kind of a different track. So it's not an industry track. It's more of I think one of them is kind of a mindset track and things like that, so that they could kind of really direct their, you know me, I lose my words sometimes, direct how they're theming each day, you know, so speakers fit into a specific day. And because it's built modular, so you can go to as much or as little as you want to, and every single city gets to decide what their price point is, or price points. You know, they even design levels so that they could reach the people that are maybe just starting or thinking about starting and don't have a big budget yet, but they can still attend and learn from and connect with their peers. And then, you know, they have, I think, 2 more levels depending on what they're trying to get out of. And I love that. And I want to open that up and allow people to be creative, because that's what most freelancers really have in them, is this drive or this interest to create on many different levels. And so I want to see what can happen for and with those guys with just some subtle direction and guidance. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see one city's event versus another.
Yeah, totally. And you know, as you're talking about it, I'm kind of seeing this also. That's my coffee telling me it's ready or it's done.
Okay.
But you know, as we're talking about this too, I mean, this is kind of a cool thing for anybody trying to learn how to do live events. Like I'm helping one of my friends right now with her virtual summit, you know, and that whole piece of getting sponsorships and getting affiliates and all that. That's a learning curve, and it's really neat that
it's huge.
It's huge, yeah. And you could learn these skills, right, under the umbrella of sort of kind of a proven model.
Yeah,
which is cool. Yeah.
Thanks.
Very cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I love it. Well, great. So, does anybody in the chat have any questions for Emily? Any burning desire to know something? Emily is a brilliant coach and consultant. So even if it's, you know, about Freelance Business Week or freelancing in general, or you know what's really going to move the needle, any questions like that for Emily, go ahead and pop them in the chat for us. And and I'll go ahead and start. So like, what would be your number one thing that you would tell, your number one piece of advice that you would give a brand new freelancer?
My number one advice that I always give, like every brand new freelancer, is know yourself, know your boundaries, know why you're doing this.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what that why is, just know what it is. And until you know it, until you've truly embraced it, then you really are going to flounder a lot. I've seen it time and time and time again. A lot of people would say, no, you need to learn this skill and that skill. All of that stuff is learnable, and you can learn it as you go along. But being able to, having to go back and like kind of do a restart because you didn't set any boundaries for yourself. You didn't understand why you're doing this. Are you doing it because you want the lifestyle? Are you doing it because you want to start small and then grow into an agency, and that's fine? And why are you doing this? Are you doing it so that you can stay home and raise your children, which is amazing too. Right. But those are going to have challenges. So understanding that why and what your boundaries are, whether they're boundaries that are put on you or boundaries that you're creating yourself, they both need to be identified and truly set on paper, so that when you're designing what the skills are you're going to use, let's just say you're going to do website design work, then you can begin to design how that's going to look, what your clients are going to look like. The other thing of knowing yourself is getting really clear on what your skill sets are and where you really shine in those. So a good example is, I did website design and SEO for 15 years. And my strong point was like construction and engineering, since I have a background in that, and oil, even oil and gas, because I grew up in the oil and gas industry. So those types of companies, I had that much more I could bring to the table because I understood their language. I understood what they were really actually needing and wanting. And my design style fit. I designed in that lots of white space and very clean and a little bit of text and a picture and that kind of thing. And so I didn't have to fight who I was all the time. And then
Yeah.
I could really focus in on those guys. So does that answer it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Great. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, great. And then is there a place that people could find out more about Freelance Business Week, potentially like apply to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go to freelanceweek.org.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Great.
look at there. It shows up.
There it is. Oh, it's like magic. That's so weird. So weird. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, I'm not as good at it as you are. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for hopping on this interview with me,
thank you.
Emily. I really appreciate it. And like I said, I really enjoyed working together, and I can't wait to be a part of Freelance Business Week in Austin, which is coming up in October. And that's going to be super fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.